Hi Hannah, thanks for coming in today.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you feeling today?
I'm okay. Yeah, it's just been like, I don't know, just another week, Not that great, but like, I don't know, kind of the same old, I guess.
What does the same old look like?
Um, I don't know, I'm still just like feeling really anxious and just like, I don't know, I still have a really hard time like staying in my classes. And like, I don't know, I've just been like feeling kind of shitty about myself because like I like think that I should be staying in my classes and I should be like, I don't know, like going to volleyball and stuff, but I don't know, I just like don't really feel good enough to, and I keep just like getting like really overwhelmed and then I don't go.
Yeah, it sounds like you're overwhelmed right now. How would you rate your anxiety? Breathing a little bit heavily right now.
I don't know, like maybe like a 6 or something.
A 6, and what's your normal usually?
Probably a 6.
A 6?
I feel like I'm always kind of high.
It's always kind of anxious.
Yeah.
And does it always kind of come up in the sense of negative thinking of like, I should be doing this, I should be staying in my classes, I should be going to volleyball? Or does it happen in your body too, where you feel like your heart's racing and you feel like you're almost like running a marathon?
Yeah, definitely both. Like, I think like I don't know, I always feel like I'm not like doing enough. So like I have to feel like I just like should be doing a whole lot better. And then I just feel like crappy. Yeah, and yeah, I don't know, yeah, I definitely get a lot of physical symptoms. So it's been really hard. Like I've always had them, but like right now it's just like feels like I'm just like getting a lot of headaches.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, yeah, I just like feel kind of like shitty all the time.
Yeah, if you're not feeling well, it did make sense that you don't want to be in class.
Mm.
You don't feel good enough to stay.
Yeah, but I mean, I should, so it's really stupid because it's like I have tests and I have like stuff that I need to be doing. And if I'm not in class, I'm gonna fall really far behind, and I already am behind.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just really hard because I don't know. I don't know. Like my head just gets all fuzzy, and I just feel like I need to leave, and I like just hardcore like panic, and then I like leave, and then I say that I'm gonna come back, and I try to tell myself that I will, but then I don't, and then I just feel really freaking stupid.
So what happens in that process of telling yourself that you're going to come back to class? What stops you?
Well, I just get like really panicky. Like I get my heart like beats really, really fast. Mm-hmm. And just my whole body feels really shitty. Like I just feel like I'm either gonna like pass out or I'm gonna have a heart attack. And like I try to tell myself that I know that I'm not, because like I don't know. My doctor tells me my heart's fine, but mm-hmm. like it's just really scary in that moment when my like heart is beating so fast, mm-hmm. and like I'm sweaty and I'm like feeling like I'm dizzy because it just really feels like something's wrong. And then it's just really hard to calm myself down when it's like, I don't know, when I think I'm dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your body's basically telling you like, hey, you should be in panic mode right now. Your heart's racing really fast. I feel like I'm going to pass out. Like, yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Has there been a time when anxiety wasn't part of your life?
No, I don't think so. My mom said I was like pretty well anxious from the start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how have you coped with it? You're an adult now, and have you managed to get through day-to-day life?
I don't know. I mean, in high school I struggled a lot, and like all throughout school really I struggled a lot. But like I don't know, I played sports, I guess, my whole life, and so that's kind of helpful. Like I played like soccer when I was younger, and that was good. And then now I'm playing volleyball where like I have some like nice friends there. Like I have a lot of like guy friends that are, I don't know, surprisingly supportive considering they're guys. And I guess like the people at school are like fairly nice. I just feel like sometimes I'm just like a bit of a burden to them. And I just like don't really want to talk about like the shitty things because I feel like they already have enough on their plate, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of feel like I'm just like taking up space all the time and just like, you know, I don't know, just wasting people's time or like not being how people want me to be.
Seems like you have a lot of negative thoughts going on in your mind. It must be really distressing for you to be at a 6 every day, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it definitely doesn't. Yeah, it's not great, but I don't know. Those thoughts have always kind of been there. I mean, I think they're true. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I feel like my friends are always like doing fun things and they want to do fun things. But like, if I'm ever feeling like super shitty, I just feel like they're like, if I tell them how I'm feeling shitty, it's just gonna bring them down. And like, no one wants to be bummed out. Like, especially when you're like drinking wine and going for a hike or whatever. Like, you don't want to be like talking about my shit. So
It seems like you care about other people and you want them to have a good time, but it's kind of at the expense of you.
yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I don't know. I always feel really silly, like with my, like how I'm feeling, like with my anxiety. Like I just like, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just like people have always told me that it's just like really stupid. Like no, well, just like silly, and just like that I shouldn't be feeling that way, and there's like no need to be feeling that way. So like, I just feel like often I just feel stupid for being that anxious because I'm like, there's no point. Like, there's not even a test today, and I'm sitting in class, and then just suddenly I feel like super overwhelmed and anxious, and then I can't go back. Like, there's literally no reason for that. It's just pretty freaking stupid. Yeah.
So have people actually told you, hey, your anxiety, you shouldn't be feeling that way, it is stupid, or are these things you're assuming that people are saying about your anxiety?
Like, I don't know, just like my mom's a nice woman for sure, and like I appreciate her. But like when I was growing up, she would just always like tell me that I was being silly, and just like I would want to like come home from school because I'd be feeling really sick, and she'd be like, "No, Hannah, you're not sick. Like you're just like it's all in your head, and like no, you need to stay." Or like, you know, if I did come home from school, she would just be like, yeah, I don't know, she just seemed kind of like annoyed and would just like tell me that I was being like, I don't know, over the top. So like, yeah.
That must have not been helpful though to hear when you were actually experiencing these symptoms of being anxious, to have someone say, hey, it's all in your head, and basically that you have control over it when you don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I do kind of have some control over it. I think I just like suck at doing that.
So what do you mean by you have some control?
Well, like other people get anxiety, but they're a lot better at it than me. So obviously I do have some control over it. I just like I'm not actually good at controlling it. And I think I just like, I don't know, like I should be able to like stop my breathing from being so like crazy, and I should be able to like control my negative thoughts because that's what all my therapists always tell me. But I just feel like I just suck at it because I still have anxiety, and like it just feels like I'm like never not gonna have anxiety, so it just feels like pointless.
It feels kind of like the end of the world.
Like I don't know, like not really, but like kind of. It's just like it just feels like kind of pointless to like try to control it when I don't think it ever will. It just makes me feel like stupid, just kind of like, I don't know, like I'm just not good enough.
Would you like to control your anxiety? Is that something that you are trying to do?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Like I've been going to therapists like for the past like 5 years. But I just feel like it just never really gets any better. Like sometimes it gets like a tiny bit better and I'm like, oh yay, and I'm hopeful. And then it just like lets me down, like I can like, and then I just like get even worse. And then it's just like pointless because I'm like, hey, what's the point in even like trying with like this? I don't know. What's the point in trying? Like there's just like, and I'm just like, I'm gonna fail anyways, and if I'm always gonna feel this way, like it really just fucking sucks. And I just like, I'm not really interested in that.
You don't want to fail.
No. And it just like sucks to always be like up against it.
Yeah, it's a constant battle you're facing, it seems like, every day.
Yeah. It feels like it's just like non-stop crap all the time.
Yeah. Is it a lot, do you think it's solely you, or do you think it's other people that are making you anxious as well? Is it just the negative thoughts that are really impactful? Or other people's actions that are affecting you as well?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I just like, I get anxious when I'm like anywhere. Like if I have to like stand in lines, I'm anxious. Or if like the typical, like if my teacher calls on me, I'm anxious, or I have to do a presentation, or like if I have to do a test. But like I also like, I like really like my friends, but sometimes when they ask me out, I even get anxious about that, which is like pretty fucking stupid because it's like that's something that generally makes me feel good, but like often my mind just like screws with it too, and then I like don't have a good time, or I like don't go because I like work myself up so much. Yeah, I don't know if it's like that people don't, like they do something, I don't know, like maybe.
It seems like it's not situational, like it's not just like school, or it's not just with your friends, it's kind of everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's all the time.
It's all the time.
Yeah.
And you said you've been to therapy before. What type of tools have you received from other people that have or have not been helpful for you?
Well, my mom and my first therapist used to always tell me that I could just breathe through it. Like, I think that's kind of bullshit. Like, I think your breathing helps a little bit. But, like, sometimes doing deep breathing is just, like, makes me even more anxious. It's like, I don't know. I feel like I need to breathe, like, super fast. But then when people are, I don't know, when they're telling me I need to breathe really slow, it's like I feel like I'm not getting enough air. Okay. And then I just feel like I'm going to pass out even more. And then I just, like, my heartbeat gets even worse. So it's just, like, bad advice. I don't know. I mean, maybe, I'm sure it works for other people, but...
But it doesn't work for you, it sounds like.
Not really.
Okay.
It, like occasionally works. But, like, only if I'm, like, already in yoga and already, like, really, really calm.
Yeah, if you're in the mindset. It seems like when you try to control your breathing, you said that you almost lose your breath. You feel like you're not getting enough oxygen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that would make you more anxious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So deep breathing is kind of not a helpful tool. What about other things that have been suggested?
I remember like having someone told me that like journaling was good because they taught me like some triangle thing. I don't totally remember, but I think it was like thoughts and behaviors and then my emotions or something.
That's right.
Yeah, and that was like kind of helpful. So they taught me to just like write about those different things.
Yeah.
And like notice when I was doing things that was bad. And I did that for a bit, like when I had like really big bad events. But like it's just really hard to like keep up with that.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it very much. So I don't know.
Would that be helpful to review, or do you feel?
Like maybe. I guess. But yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else before we maybe try a few things together? No. I brought you a snack and some water if you're hungry or thirsty, so I'll leave it over here for you. Okay. You're welcome. So, a lot of times when people have anxiety, we use a method called CBT. And you were already talking about the triangle that's like well known and prominent in CBT. So there's 3 elements that you were talking about. So you can give them to me one more time if you want. So they kind of stick in there. What was the first one you thought of?
Thoughts.
Thoughts. Okay.
And behaviors.
Behaviors. I need a smaller pen. Jeez Louise. Behaviors. And what's the last one?
I think it's emotions.
Emotions, yeah. So usually it's drawn in a triangle or a cycle because everything affects one another. Your emotions affect your thoughts affect your behavior. And I think the theory behind it is basically if we can cause a disruption in the cycle, then we can change another part. So right now, it seems like the most distressing things that are bugging you are these thoughts that you're having, these negative thoughts, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But also like the feelings, like not my emotions really, but like I just like get these like horrible like feelings in my body.
Yeah, so the
and
physical
they make
symptoms.
me panic really hard.
Okay.
I don't know if that counts in there.
Yeah, let's put feelings, like physical symptoms and feelings in there too.
But yeah. Both of those, I guess.
Okay. And having negative thoughts is a totally normal thing, but with people that have anxiety, they occur a little bit more often and they're harder to control. Is that something you can kind of identify with?
My thoughts?
Yeah, that they happen more often and that you have less kind of control over them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They're kind of hard to like think about all the time. Like it's hard to like catch them, but yeah, I do think I get like ones that are kind of repetitive.
And would you say that your thoughts, you consider them to be fact, that they're real and they're true, or sometimes they're just thoughts?
Most of the time they feel pretty real.
They feel real, okay.
When I think I'm like being, like when I'm a burden or I'm like not good enough, those definitely feel quite real.
Okay. One of the helpful exercises that come out of CBT is kind of challenging those negative thoughts. So basically being like a mini detective of seeing what's true, what the evidence you have for that thought, and the evidence you have against. So would you be willing to maybe pick one thought that you'd want to work on?
Sure.
Okay. And what's that one thought?
That I'm not good enough.
You're not good enough? Okay. And what is the evidence that you have for that?
I'm always like letting other people down, and I'm like never able to do things as good as other people usually, and like I don't know, I've had like a lot of friends that have come and gone, and they probably have gone because like I'm annoying and not fun to be around all the time. I don't know, and I just like sometimes I just feel like I'm like not good enough at all, and I never will be, and then I just like feel really shitty. Yeah, I don't know.
So what is the evidence against that? Because I'm even going to challenge you. You seem like you have a good group of friends in volleyball. They ask you to hang out a lot. even though you might not come out sometimes, but they still want to be around you.
Mm-hmm.
So where is that kind of sense that you are annoying to them or a burden coming from? Is that from a place of them texting, oh my god, she's so annoying? Or is it from you thinking that you'll be a burden on them?
Well, I think it's just like, yeah, no, they haven't ever told me I'm annoying, but I don't know, like sometimes they like joke that I'm like a bummer, but I think like they're just, sometimes I think they're just joking. But generally when people joke, there's some truth behind it. So I don't know, maybe they do think I'm a bit annoying. And I don't know, I just feel like they're always like having a lot of fun and joking around, and that's when they're happiest. But like when I start like talking about how stressed out I am, or like if I say that I'm just like feeling really shitty, like I don't know, sometimes they just like joke and they're like, I don't know, they don't take it that seriously, and then it just makes me feel like they don't really like want to talk about it.
Yeah, so it seems like there's times when you want to express your anxiety with your friends, but you feel like they don't really understand.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing now is a lot of negative thinking still, and sometimes if we have ways to identify what those thinking patterns are, we can ask ourselves, hey, am I getting into this type of thought? So what they're often classified as are thinking traps. So it feels like almost you're boxed in. So we have a few of them here, and if you don't identify with them, totally fine to say that's silly, or it's not how I feel. But one of the thinking traps we can get into is fortune telling, basically predicting what the future is or what an outcome can be. So do you ever think like, oh, I'm not going to get that job, or I'm not going to do well on that test?
Yeah, like all the time.
Yeah, so that's an example, because we don't know what the outcome is. We can't predict the future.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one.
Yeah.
There's another one. So we've got black and white thinking. So it's either this or that kind of thing. So if I don't strive for perfection, I'm a failure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I do that.
Sometimes do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's another one, which is mind reading. And it sounds like there's some truth to the thoughts you're having about your friends of saying, like, they think I'm a bummer, because you might have some evidence for that. So mind reading is basically predicting what other people are thinking about you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't actually really know exactly how they feel if you ask them, but like, yeah, it just feels like I'm a bummer.
You just feel like you're a bummer. Okay. Another one is overgeneralization. So when we use always and never, and we kind of exclude other situations. So I'm always anxious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I said that right there.
Yeah. So that's one that we can work on as well. Labeling is another one. You've mentioned that, of saying like, I'm not good enough. I'm stupid is another one people use commonly, or I'm a loser. So do you find yourself labeling yourself in kind of one word?
Yeah. Yeah. Or like I'm just like think I'm not good enough, or like I'm like a burden, or I'm just like I don't know. Yeah. Silly.
Or even but that's kind of coming back from your mom of telling you, hey, you're silly.
But maybe she's right.
Why do you think she's right?
Well, because I like the way that I act is just like kind of silly. Like I don't need to be feeling that anxious or like that bummed out, but sometimes I still do. Like even like the other night I was just feeling like really shitty about myself, and I was just like kept having these like horrible thoughts, and then I just like finally called my mom because I just like was feeling really bad, and then because she was the only one I could think to call. I didn't want to call my sister.
Okay.
But I called her, and she just, like, was telling me I was being silly. And then, like, I at first was like, no, I'm not. These things are real. But then the more we talked, I was like, yeah, I probably am being silly. And then I don't know. And then, like, she told me to do a bunch of stuff, and I did a couple of them, and then I did feel better. So, like, maybe I was just being silly.
So it sounds like talking to your mom was helpful, and she's still someone you really lean on and depend on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like all the things that she says about me, but she is, like, one of the only people that I feel I can actually call, because she's, always there. Whereas, like, other people can leave me, but she can't really leave me.
But she'll always be there for you.
I think so.
So what are those few things? It sounded like you were able to calm down from being maybe at a 6, and then after talking to your mom, where would you rate yourself?
I think I was higher than a 6.
You're higher than a
6,
okay.
I wasn't even feeling anxious, really. I was just feeling, like, really, really, really down.
Really down. Like, how, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, down is, I just don't want to be here anymore, and 1 is, I'm feeling awesome and I can do anything.
Like an 8.
An 8? That's pretty high.
Like, yeah. Like 8 like bad.
8 like bad, yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, because you've been having all these distressing thoughts, and it feels like a lot. And it's really affecting you. You noticed physically and how you feel about yourself.
Yeah. So
has there been a time that you felt like it's too much and you wish it would it would all stop?
Yeah, it's been a little bit like that on Saturday. Because I just been anxious all day. And my friends invited me to play volleyball. And I didn't go. And then my other friends from school asked me to join, like, a study thing with them. And I went, but then I didn't know some of the answers, and I just felt super fucking stupid, and I just felt like, why am I even in this class? Like, I'm not good enough to be here, and I'm never fucking good enough, and then I can't even do the things that I care about. And then I just, like, went home, and I was just, like, it was really stupid, but I was just, like, crying for, like, a long time. And I was just feeling really, really, really low. Yeah.
Have you ever felt really low before, or is this the first time?
Yeah, I felt like it a few times in high school.
Okay.
Like, a couple times last year.
Have you ever gotten to the point where you wanted to hurt yourself?
I've, like, thought about it, but I don't know. Not, like, I don't want to, like, hurt myself. Like, I'm not, like, I don't want to, like, cut myself or anything. Like, that doesn't seem, like, that grosses me out, and I don't like pain. But, like, I don't know. Sometimes, like, I just, like, yeah, I don't know. I've, like, thought about how it just sucks, and I wouldn't mind not having to deal with all of it, but yeah.
That fear of pain is kind of preventing you.
Yeah, like, I don't want to.
You don't want to die.
No.
No.
No. No, I would like to feel better. It's just, like, sometimes it just feels like I'm never going to. Like, I'm already, like, 23, and I just still feel super shitty.
Feels all heavy still. Feels like you've been carrying this a long time.
Yeah, and, like, if I'm still like this, like, now, like, I'm probably never gonna get over it, because, like, I'm old enough, I should have been able to deal with it by now.
Mm-hmm. You have a lot of expectations for yourself, it sounds like. You expect yourself to be what other people want you to be, and you want to do well in school. and you want to be the best version of yourself you can be for your friends.
Yeah.
But how realistic are these expectations that you have for yourself?
I don't know, everyone else is doing it.
But what can you do?
I think I should be able to do it. Like, I think that I am smart. It's just like, I don't know, the psychology program's kind of annoying. Like, it's just like a lot of terms I have to memorize.
Well, so many.
Yeah, and I feel like I just like, I don't know, I just like have a hard time like focusing on them sometimes, and because I don't always go to class, it's really hard to like remember all the terms I'm supposed to remember when I wasn't there, so I just feel like I'm not learning as much as other people, so I'm not doing as good. But I don't know.
I feel like you're falling behind, you said, when you're missing that much class. But I just want to kind of go back to it, is the first positive thing you kind of said is, I'm smart, I think I'm smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made it to university.
Yeah.
So what kind of strategies got you here?
I guess like friends like helped me.
Okay.
And like when I was interested in something, it was good. Like I wanted to go into psychology, so I tried harder. But right now in psych, and it just feels like never ending. And like I know I'm like in my last year, but it's just like hell. It's hard. And yeah, I don't know. And I don't know what I want to do when I graduate, so it's just like everyone tells me that psych degrees are like worthless and you need to do something more. So that like freaks me out because that means more school, and I'm not that good at school. Like I'm smart, but I'm not always like essay smart or test smart, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's different types of smarts. It sounds like you have a lot of different smarts that have brought you here, not necessarily in the terms of writing or being able to take tests efficiently. And tests are really hard. Like, not a lot of people are good at taking tests. And those are the people you just want to like hit on the head sometimes.
Yeah.
It seems like the things that kept you going were your friends and your interest in your program, but it seems like that interest in psych has kind of dwindled with that uncertainty that's been brought up in the sense of, what are you going to do after you graduate? What does this degree really hold? What are you going to be able to do? Is that kind of accurate?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So what first interested you in psychology? What was the real pull?
Well, I've always worked with kids and I really like it. Like my mom has a daycare, so I worked with little kids all the time. And like I find it really interesting, so I wanted to learn like more about that. And yeah, and I thought psych would be good for that. And like I like learning about all the different disorders. I find it interesting. Makes me feel a little bit less fucked up. And I know there's so many other people out there that are also a little bit screwed up, you know?
Yeah, a lot of people are facing the same battle. Or something.
And it would be cool if I could like help other people that are also having like anxiety problems.
So you want to help?
But first I need to be better because I suck too much to help other people if I can't help myself. Maybe one day.
You have a lot of strengths. You've been here, when you came to session today, being at a 6. You were able to talk to me and open up about some things, about what doesn't work, what does work, and some of the thoughts that have really been bothering you. And that's really brave.
Yeah.
And you want to even help other people, be an advocate for them, for people that are going through anxiety. And yeah, there's a lot of strengths in you. And you've been resilient enough to manage 23 years of your life coping with anxiety, being able to go to college, still have friends, have a good relationship with your mom for the most part.
Yeah.
Are there any other strengths you see in yourself?
I'm good at sports.
I'm good at sports. Alright. Because you like volleyball
I was good at soccer.
and soccer. I was not. What else? Good with kids, apparently. I missed that one, sorry.
Yeah, I'm good with kids. It probably doesn't seem like it now because I'm being a bummer, but sometimes I am really fun. And so I like joking around, and I like hanging out with friends and stuff. And I really like being outside. I'm good at camping stuff, and hiking stuff. Yeah.
It's quite a list of things. I'm wondering if you would be okay engaging with me in a mini science experiment kind of thing. Testing out one of your thoughts.
Sure.
So you basically just said that you thought, correct me if I'm wrong, that I might not be able to see how funny you are because I might perceive you as a bummer. So what's the evidence for that you would think that I think you are a bummer?
Well, because right now I'm just a bummer. Because I'm not I don't know, I'm not being funny or fun or very talkative. I'm just kind of sitting here feeling tired and lame. I don't think that's very fun or funny.
It doesn't have to be fun, but it's thinking that you're a bummer and you're funny are two different things. So, sitting here, you said that you're not as talkative, but you've been talking almost for the full session with me. So that's evidence for you are talkative. You are engaging.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think I'm that. I just don't think I'm very funny right now, so I doubt you haven't seen that side of me. But there is that side of me.
There is that side of you. So there is evidence that, hey, might not be present right now, but I am funny. And maybe it would come out in another session. Maybe, yeah. So we're kind of getting back into that mind trap of mind reading. You think that I think you're a bummer. So is that helpful to kind of go through a process of being or testing the validity of that thought of being hey, does this person actually think I'm a bummer?
Yeah, I could see that maybe being helpful when when I'm hanging out with friends.
Yeah. Because what's the worst that could happen?
They don't want to hang out with me and they break up with me as friends.
They break up with you as friends?
Yeah.
Has that ever happened before, where you've told them how you felt and they've completely cut you off?
Well, I just a few years ago, I was just really bummed out for half the year. And then I just my friends just kind of ghosted me. They just stopped answering my texts and stopped inviting me out. And then I just kept seeing pictures of them doing fun things when I'd asked them to hang out and they didn't reply. So yeah, they just it's not that I necessarily said something. It was just the way I was. They didn't like me anymore. And so they just kind of bailed.
They kind of bailed on you. And that hurts.
Yeah, it was really shitty.
What about the friends you have now?
It hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened.
But yeah.
They're kind of afraid and maybe getting into that mode of predicting hey, if I do tell them how I feel, they might ghost me like my old friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if I let myself be too bummed out for too long, then they might just, they might do that. So usually I try to just like pretend. So when I'm feeling shitty, I just like slap on a big smile and I like just pretend, and I just like take a lot of meds that day, and then I just like try to be better than I am.
Mm-hmm. So do you think in that moment, if you were hanging out with your friends, let's start with another thing. Do you feel comfortable enough to tell your friends that, hey, I'm not doing so hot right now?
No, not really.
Not really? Besides your mom, who do you feel confident telling?
I used to feel okay telling my sister, but I don't really anymore. But sometimes I'll tell my dad.
Okay.
He's pretty chill. Yeah, but he doesn't really get it, but like he'll listen at least. And grunt. I don't know, I have like one friend from volleyball that like she's told me that she like sometimes has anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes has been depressed. But she seems pretty good, but like I guess because she told me that sometimes I would feel okay telling her. I told her one time that I've dealt with anxiety too, but like, and she didn't react bad. Yeah, but she just kind of like, I don't know, she didn't seem that interested, but she didn't seem like
disinterested.
upset.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
That's kind of a big thing
She
for
still
her.
hung out with me.
She still hung out with you. It's a big thing for her to tell you too. Like, I'm sure she might be going through similar things.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you slap on a big smile and you try to be fun and the person that people want you to be. Do you think that she might be doing a similar thing?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool that day because she like actually told me. So then like when she told me she was feeling anxious, it like made me feel more okay to tell her I was feeling anxious. But yeah, usually I'm just like scared people are gonna judge me, so I don't. But yeah, she's okay. I could probably, and maybe could tell her things sometime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she sounds like a really nice friend that you've made at volleyball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just going to be conscious of time. I haven't kind of keep it away just to make sure. So we're doing all right so far.
Okay.
I think we've got about 10 minutes left, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to check in again. You said you were at a 6 at the beginning of session, which is your normal kind of high number that you have every day.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you right now?
I don't feel as anxious anymore. Like maybe like a 4.
Maybe like a 4. Okay. And that's kind of a significant jump. So what do you think has contributed from going from a 6 to a 4?
Just like talking to you and you're not telling me I'm silly, so that made me feel a bit better. And like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that made me feel a bit better. So just talking, I guess.
Just talking.
Yeah, you're a bit nicer to talk to than my mom, that's for sure. So, yeah.
That's good. So, going from a 6 to a 4, do you think having a similar conversation that you had with me with that friend would maybe bring you down to a 4 as well, the one from volleyball?
Maybe.
Maybe.
But sometimes it's better when I just ignore it if I'm like at volleyball. But like, yeah, if we're just like going for a hike, it might be nicer to tell her.
Nice to tell her?
Yeah. Also, like, I have this like app on my phone that I use sometimes when I'm feeling really anxious, and it like, it's called a Wobot, which is
what's up? Can I see?
It's on like my Facebook Messenger.
Oh, it's a Woba.
Yeah, it's called a Wobot, like WOE, like your woes, which is kind of funny.
Oh, you're what? Oh.
And it like sends me messages every day and asks me how I'm doing.
Oh.
It's like kind of really like structured like this, so I don't like, yeah, so it's like I can't just like tell them all the things, but they like ask me to rate things, and like sometimes they have me pick out things like this, like catastrophizing and stuff. So sometimes I get to like, and then sometimes it leaves space at the end so I can like tell it just like, it's not a person, it's just like a computer. But I can just like write things, and then sometimes that's kind of nice, so I can just like write that I'm feeling shitty. And then it like tells me to take a deep breath.
Which you don't want to do.
No, not really.
Don't like deep breathing.
But like, or it tells me like what are other things you could do, and then sometimes I'm like I could go for a walk or something like that, and then that could be more helpful.
So it sounds like you have some strategies of your own. Extremely resourceful. You have your Wobot, your good friend there.
Yeah.
And you said you love the outdoors, right? So taking a walk, like you said, might be a helpful thing when you're in that state of negative thinking. Just take a break and go outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's kind of hard here because I don't have that many friends who like to go for walks, so it's like I'm kind of like scared to go out because there's so many like deer and like coyotes and stuff like that. But like, yeah, but I like to go in the day, like just for little walks like around the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Or like if I can convince a friend to go for a big hike, then like I really like that. Mm-hmm.
Do you like hiking?
Mm-hmm.
And what else is a good kind of way to get you out of your head?
I don't know, just the things I said, like sports and hiking and sometimes the writing. Yeah. Or like when I drink, I feel better, usually. For a bit anyways, not the next day. The next day I usually feel more anxious, but the night of I generally feel better. So sometimes I'll just like have a beer or a glass of wine, and that tends to calm me down a little bit. But yeah. But I know that's not like the healthiest thing. You probably don't want to hear about that.
No, I want to hear about it.
But yeah.
It sounds like you have a lot of strategies. And I think my biggest concern, you started the session at a 6. Mm-hmm. Being kind of expressing to me that you had a lot of negative thoughts. Thinking that you're kind of like worthless and you're not who other people expect you to be. You're stupid. So coming full circle and being able to challenge those and having strategies that you come up with by yourself is really important. I didn't want to leave you kind of hanging, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So you have these really great tools in the sense of the Wobot of rating yourself during the day and being able to kind of write things down, maybe in addition to journaling, if you choose. Mm-hmm. And you've also identified a few people that you can talk to if you feel like things are getting out of control in the sense of thoughts. So you can talk to your mom, possibly your dad, and your new friend from volleyball when you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And also that just doing some things by yourself is helpful. So going outside during the day when the coyotes and the deers are not out, and hiking would also be a helpful strategy. I'm also hoping that our time together has been helpful and that if you choose, you can come back, or if not, that's totally up to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm glad. So hopefully I'll see you another time, and if not, just remember that you have the power to challenge these thoughts and you have a lot of great resources that you come up with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.